Well, Daniel Ricciardo has returned to the Formula One cockpit, taking a championship-winning F1 car on an epic road trip across Australia. Joining us live now is Bull aerobatic pilot Matt Hall, who joined the Grand Prix winner on the journey. Matt, really appreciate you making the time. Thank you. Firstly, let's start at the beginning. How does one actually come to be an aerobatic pilot doing this sort of work? It's a pretty unique gig, I imagine.
Yeah, it is. I started in the Air Force as a teenager and flew jet fighters, and then transitioned from that into the Red Bull Air Race. And I've just been flying these sort of planes with Red Bull ever since.
And so I understand this latest highlight is going to be the Seacliff Bridge in New South Wales. Just tell us what your role is. Like, how do you actually work with these drivers, and what's the aim here?
Basically, because we're all sponsored by Red Bull, they put the thing together and came to me and said, we're looking to do something really epic with Dan in the Red Bull 7 old Formula One race car. And we had a look around at where we could do something spectacular, and we decided on the Seacliff Bridge was going to be it, with the car on the bridge and me above the bridge having a bit of fun together.
A bit of fun is a bit of a, talking it down just slightly, we're just showing our viewers some of the pictures here. It looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, there was a lot of work went into it. If you look at it as just a quick snapshot, you go, that's a lot of risk involved there, but it's actually not. With bill of planning that goes in, and we did a heap of training up and down runways, and then did some training offshore as well. And then it wasn't until the final take where we had the car on the bridge and me on the bridge at the same time, where we finally got which ended up being about 60 seconds of footage actually.
Goodness. Okay, so you say it's all very safe, but have you had a few close calls over the years?
Oh, I have, yeah. It's flying in the Red Bull Air Race. I actually I hit the water in 2010, but was able to gather it up and fly away. So I'm not sure if you'd call it a crash or an incident, but I landed the plane back at the runway and was flying again the following week. But it's like anything, if you're pushing to the limits, you have to accept that there's risk involved, but you do everything you can to mitigate that risk through both training, planning and safety equipment.
So Matt, what's it like to work with superstars like Daniel Ricciardo and I guess the rest of the Red Bull team as well? I assume it takes a certain type of person to be involved in these sort of extreme sports.
Yeah, it's good actually. It's a great team because, and I guess from the outside, you actually look at us and think that we're all adrenaline junkies, or we all push the limits to those extreme points. But in fact, everyone that I work with in Red Bull, they are all very well planned and calculated people who are very, very good at what they do. So when you combine people that are very good at what they do into one project, you end up with a great amount of trust in each other, great friendships from it, and you are able to do some pretty amazing things with minimal risk.
So after all the crazy things you've done over the years, what's left on your bucket list? What would you really like to achieve in terms of really pushing that to the next level? Is there anything?
I always say that the one realm I haven't explored yet is space. So it's something that I've still got on my bucket list of somehow get either to the edge or into space. We're flying jet fighters for a career and racing planes for a career, and now doing these pretty cool events with Formula One cars. It is hard to keep the entertainment up. There's I'm looking further and further for what's next, but you never know what's around the corner.
Okay, well, we'll be watching closely to see if you can get there, Matt Hall. Not an adrenaline junkie, of course, just doing a pretty standard job there. Really appreciate you talking us through it. It's fascinating to hear about it.